LearnUp is a nonprofit that has been around for 10 years now. And we are on a mission to teach all kids how to read.
Nick and Jim were discussing the further adventures of the Phantom.
He enjoyed walking on the Georgetown streets at night.
In our 10 years, we have worked with students of all ages, all grades. We work with adults as well. And we work with students who may have learning differences or students who just weren't taught. So we know that reading doesn't come naturally to everyone, and that as students are growing, they're going to pick up on how to speak, but not how to read. And that's why students need to be taught to read the right way in an explicit, structured format. Our program is based on about 5 different orton-gillingham approaches, which is a very foundational phonics approach where you are learning to decode or break down words by looking at the letter, connecting it with the sound. And what we do that differs from some other programs out there is that we use entry levels to have students start in at their challenge level in our program. And we use our proprietary book series as well, and we spend about half of each session reading books that reinforce the phonics concepts students are learning. In every lesson, we use our interactive multisensory phonics board, and this is something we know is really important when teaching reading to students. We want to make sure that they are staying engaged and using all of their senses in order to learn best. So in every session, we spend about the first half of the time on our phonics board and the second half actually reading in a book. We are a high-intensity tutoring program, and we recommend that students attend 4 to 5 days a week for 50 minutes a day.
And so slow. By his hat that he was probably a sailor and was hiding his eyes behind the dark sunglasses.
In about 5 months, we can get a student almost 3 grade levels above where they're at. And if you think about a 5th grader who is reading at 2nd grade level, that means give them 5 months of high-intensity reading tutoring, and they're able to start to read at their grade level to understand what's going on in their classrooms and keep up with their peers.
Could play impractical jokes with them. Trisha smiled, but could
Heather then struggled to get back to the water, but she found that she had gone too far onto the beach. Heather knew she had only a few minutes before she went through her transformation.
Over the years, LearnUp tutors have taught students of all ages to read using our regular program. However, the language that we were using to teach students the phonics rules was often considered childish by struggling teen readers. While this didn't hinder our program's ability to teach students of all ages to read, we did recognize that struggling teen readers often felt ashamed or disengaged as they went through our program because they didn't feel like it was age appropriate for them. In designing Unlocking Reading Success for Teens, LearnUp wanted to create a program that would teach teen readers how to read while still honoring their maturity. At its core, the Unlocking Reading Success for Teens program is the same as our regular program. It teaches students the same phonics rules and follows the same lesson plan because we know it's effective in teaching students to read. What makes Unlocking Reading Success for Teens different is how we are presenting the information to our students. This version of the LearnUp program builds on our core structured literacy framework by critically adapting the content, pacing, examples, and tone for adolescent students. We even use more advanced decodable books with culturally responsive stories that are designed to engage teens. This allows students to absorb the knowledge they need to learn how to read while still feeling appropriately challenged for their age. Additionally, tutors are provided with more resources that support the specific needs of adolescents, such as information on how to bond and engage with teen students, morphology instruction that supports multisyllable word knowledge, and advanced writing and comprehension practices. This program exists because we believe everyone has the right to learn how to read. We believe in the potential our teens have, and with the right instruction, you can change the entire trajectory of a young person's life.
A long time ago, it used to be so difficult for me, but now that I'm growing up and I'm almost like a teenager, I'm starting to get better at my reading and writing, and reading and writing right now is starting to get really more simple for me. My life is getting so much better, but if you think about it, when you know how to read and write, it just makes you feel good, free, just makes you feel the inside. Yeah.
I run big, back.
Did our attic had a ghost? What would we find behind this door? As the attic door opened slowly,
Well, before I started, I was reading at I think they said a third grade level. It was not bad though, but it wasn't as good.
He just stumbled through everything. I mean, it just felt like such a huge barrier to him that he didn't want to write because he couldn't spell. He thought he knew what he wanted to say, but he just was so cautious at putting it on paper. And then when it came to reading aloud, he just wasn't going to go there. And he would kind of quietly say, I really don't know how to do this stuff. And I really loved to see that trust in the classroom. He eventually got to where he would be reading aloud, but it was a huge obstacle. And this is a 10th grade young man. He plays sports and is very active and wants to be a big part of his community, and he wants to go places. So the fact that he could, was struggling so much to read was heartbreaking.
We have to walk. We have walked too long. It was slightly after 8 o'clock at night when Pep arrived at their old Stone's house near Washington Circle. I heard a lot of teachers telling me, you're getting a little better at your reading. I said, thank you. Makes me feel very excited and very proud of myself.
One of the young men I worked with, he was very forthright in the fact that, Steph, I can't read.
Tom got back by 6. The fog will roll in at 6, yelled Bill and Tom's mom. This guy.
Pep loved learning this style of Kung Fu, karate, and he especially enjoyed how empowered he felt wearing his class uniform.
He just took a final with me, and he could sound out words, and I saw that he had skills. And I reminded him that he could take the word, he knew how to break it down, and that helped him with spelling, it helped him with understanding. And every now and then he would read something and then it would kind of click. He'd be like, oh yeah, I got this. That's amazing.
Right now, I feel like I could read a lot better and faster with more confidence. Learning to read does make me happy because I don't have to be too embarrassed of teachers saying my name to come up and read it and whatnot.
I liked reading. It was nice, but I didn't love it as much. And then I couldn't really understand the books. Books that don't really have pictures or a lot, I don't really understand it. It's what's the point of getting a book if you can't really understand it so.
Family trips are important to my parents, so we go lots of places together. Saturday we went to an art museum in the city.
Trisha smiled but controlled herself so she did not burst out into laughter. No, these are just old-fashioned homemade decorations. Trisha thought to herself, either this is practical joke by my friend Christy. There was one book that I was reading. I read them good, and then there was a difference. I can understand more stuff from books. I don't need specific stuff, like I don't need pictures, I don't need it to be short. I make less mistakes, and then I can do it a little bit more fluently. I do harder stuff, so that means I can do more stuff.
As a reading tutor, and I started because I loved books and I wanted to help all students love books. And I have one student that I really remember who, when she started, she had a bit of a speech impediment and a stutter, and she hated reading, she hated books, but she was so smart that she would like pick apart the stories so well and show you what didn't make sense. And then we worked together for a really long time because we bonded and we got into some really cool advanced comprehension and really thinking about characters' perspectives and meanings and themes. And at the end, we did our little interview and we talked, and I asked her, how did you feel about reading when you started? And she went, I hated it, I despised it. She had every great word for hatred in there. And I said, all right, and how do you feel about it now? And she goes, I love it, it's so fun. You get to enter the world and connect with the characters. And that is exactly why I started this job, was so that people could see themselves in stories and connect with it and learn to love it, and also learn to love learning.
I am Miss Taylor, and I am the assistant principal here at Mission High School. I work with the teachers to identify students that are struggling readers and that could use the one-to-one support, and then I connect with LearnUp to match schedules, and then we make a schedule for the students then to meet with a LearnUp tutor every day. We have 6 students currently in LearnUp at the moment, but we've had probably now in the last 2 years 20. Oftentimes, if you're a struggling reader, one of the things that you do is that you end up disappearing from the class. Like, you'll raise your hand, go to the bathroom, and then you disappear, wait for the activity to be done, and then come back, sneak back in. And so students are now staying in classroom the entire period and engaging with the work. The other thing is that you see them more confident in their ability to do hard things. What I like about LearnUp is, first of all, it's rooted in research, and it combines multiple methods that have worked. I also like that it's one-to-one human interaction, and it's looking at the long game and not like just a short-term gain. Some things, if it's like only 15 minutes here and there, or you're just trying to get as many kids as possible, I don't think you're going to see the long-term change in students. It is more intensive, it's longer, it's harder sometimes because you have to create these longer schedules, but the gains that students make are permanent and are life-changing and not just something for a test or to show a data point. And so that's what I like about it. It's not easy, but learning isn't easy. And so I feel like it's about the long game and not about just short-term gains. I'm a parent of a student in LearnUp, and I've seen him become a reader. And I think if I'm, as a parent, believing in it, and then I bring it to the school, that's how much I believe in it. And one thing I just think about with my son that I also think about with other students is that it's just not about school. He once went to get ice cream, and if you ever go to an ice cream shop in San Francisco, you'll see it's never just vanilla. It's like Madagascar infused, sourced, organic, all these words that are really hard, and then you get to vanilla. And so one time he went and he asked for vanilla, and the guy at the ice cream shop said, "What, you can't read?" And it was just so devastating to him. And that's what I think of. Now he can go in and order ice cream without shame. And that's what I think of our students. Like, some of them were struggling with DMV tests. Some were struggling with just filling out job applications. And so when I think of it, you're removing those barriers to access, but removing the shame that comes around with it, being a struggling reader. And that just because you struggle now doesn't mean you're going to always struggle. It's not like a label that can stick with you forever. So that's what I think of